Char Margolis, Char Communications Incorporated, and CharVision LLC do not endorse or offer for any purpose but entertainment the views of any guest or other expert on CharVision or UBN.
I knew things before they happened from the time I was a child. At the age of 8, I saw a spirit at the foot of my bed and didn't know what it was. And in my 20s, I finally realized I had a special ability that could help others. I have learned that love never dies. There is a spirit world that can communicate with us, and we all have the gift of intuition. Join me, and together we will explore the possibilities of the unknown from beyond and more. This is CharVision.
Good evening, everybody. Today is June 14th, 2024, and it's Sunny and Char on CharVision. And Tony, hi, Tony.
Howdy.
So I'm very excited because my friend is going to be on today. And give me a second. I have to find. I had this all organized, and you know me. Okay, so I'm introducing Pam Slaton, who's an amazing woman. She's truly amazing. And she's an investigative genealogist who's been reuniting missing family members for over 30 years by using intuition, dog determination, combined with the help of DNA analysis. It's her passion and her calling, and I know for a fact that is all very true. Pam, thank you so much for being here.
Char, thank you for having me. I am extremely excited to be with you tonight. I introduced you on my Facebook as someone that gave me the most profound reading many years ago after my mom passed away. I don't know if you remember it. And you told me things that you had absolutely no way of knowing. And what you told me was so healing. So I'm really excited to be with you tonight.
Well, that warms my heart. Thank you. So I did not pay her to say that, you guys.
Not at all.
No, I don't, I read for people and I don't remember what I say.
It was really wonderful. So I will never forget you.
That warms my heart. Thank you. Thank you. Well, when people allow me to read for them, it allows me to fulfill my karma on the earth. So it goes both ways.
It's an amazing gift. That's for sure.
And so is your gift amazing. So I tell us a little bit about how you do what you do. And it's mostly you find adopted siblings.
So I'm an adoptee myself. And out of my own need to figure out who my birth family was, when I found my birth mother, it was catastrophic. And I had been told things I didn't want to accept. And in an attempt to get to my own truth, I started gathering information and learning the ropes. And so from there, I basically started volunteering and helping other people. And what I primarily do is help adoptees find their birth families, or if a birth parent gave up a child that was given up for adoption, and or a lot of people now, a very big part of my work has been finding birth fathers, because DNA has allowed people that never had a name, were never told the truth. That DNA is, is the truth dart, if you would, and the DNA is helping people that never had a chance at finding their real fathers.
Oh, wow. And what kind of reactions are you getting? Like, hi, I'm your kid. What kind of reactions do you get?
I have to tell you, I've become a little desensitized to really making these phone calls, in the sense that I realize I'm really going to rock someone's world.
Right? You think?
But, oh yeah. But, on the whole, I am so used to doing it that I think there's a very delicate and nice way of doing it, so that you gently lead people into what's going to ultimately be a bomb that you're going to drop on them.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of people are really happy. A lot of people are waiting for this phone call for a very long time. And then you have the people that are shocked to find out they were a father and never knew that they had a child.
My
Um,
goodness.
yeah, and
How
then
old,
you
like,
have
how old are these people? Some of them must be like, in their 60s and 70s or something.
my oldest client, and I will never forget him. Are you ready?
Yep.
95 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
And what,
95 years old. And what does that tell you, right? That tells
right,
you people are never too old to want to know the truth. And
right.
he didn't expect, obviously, to find his parents alive, but he wanted to know who they were, what they did for a living, their nationalities, and photos. Photos were a huge thing for this particular gentleman because he looked at his own face but didn't know where his looks came from. So it was pretty
Wow.
awesome.
Wow. And have you ever had like, have you ever had two people call you that had the same parents or the same mother or the same father and didn't know it? Like this.
Not, honestly, I've been doing this so long, nothing really sticks out in my mind. I had a crazy, crazy case many years ago that, oh my God, it was such. Do you know? I'm sure you do, Char. There was a triplets that was separated at birth.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Yes.
They're three
So
guys, right? Wait, Stuart's friends with one of them.
that's correct. Stewart actually knew one of them. And they were from an adoption agency, Louise Wise. And it was a whole scandal because the agency was basically studying nature versus nurture. Hey, let's take these triplets, let's take these twins, let's separate them, we'll give them similar parents, and let's see how much of their personalities are alike, and etc. And it
Right.
was just a really unkind thing to do, obviously,
Oh,
when you understand the relationship that twins and triplets, have with each other. So I had worked on a case that involved that. It was a twin, but it was a twin case. And it was a very big deal in New York because the gentleman had petitioned the courts and basically was very instrumental in almost shutting down Louise Wise
wow.
because he was suffering from schizophrenia. And he would call them and say, "What's wrong with me? Why am I not well? What's in my background?" And they would say, "Oh, your mother was a talented pianist. She was college educated, etc., etc." And basically, just never was honest with him. And this poor
Right.
man suffered.
Oh,
And then many years later, I was working on a new case and I started gathering my information and then realized that the very same person that I was now helping was actually the sister to this gentleman who had had the schizophrenia. And what I'm not saying, what's really important is while the agency was busy telling him that he came from this amazing background, we found out that his mother was actually lobotomized and institutionalized.
oh my gosh.
So he had all of this, suffering going on in his life. And, he was sort of doomed because his father was also a patient in that particular institution. Um,
Oh,
the the craziest thing, though, I will tell you, is that my client, on the other hand, never suffered, same mother, never suffered from mental illness, never had depression, nor did her children.
wow.
So it's kind of an interesting thing when you're looking at, the perspective of, was this an inherited type of
Right.
situation? So,
And
uh,
genetics, like that's interesting that they didn't have any signs of any of that.
no, not at all. And then, of course, I had the job of calling and saying, "Found your birth mother, and here's the story." And, for me, I take on a certain responsibility when I'm passing information on. I am very conscious of, any damaging information and
Right.
what It's a lot. I'm sure, for you, it's the same. Like you have to really filter and be careful how you're impacting someone. And for me, what I always try to do is come up with the silver lining in all of it. And I will work until I sort of find that silver lining so that my client walks away, satisfied with closure, but having something good come out of it. It's
You
not
know,
easy.
that's it's incredible what you do. It's a gift that you give people
Thank
to
you.
know their lineage and their heritage. I mean, you know, I I'm well, my nephew calls me the mistake, but for sure I only because I'm 9 years younger than my middle sister and 13 years younger than my oldest sister. But I was like the after the World War II baby. But I mean, but I know they're my parents. But I can't imagine people being adopted and having amazing adopted parents, but then really not having that piece of knowing where they really came from. I can't imagine that.
It's if for some people it's like I knew it all along. For the ones that were not told all their life and they just for fun do this little DNA kit for Christmas, and then it's
Right.
like, the results come back and it's like, oh my God, these are not my siblings. We're not full siblings.
Wow.
Um, for some people, it's like, okay, this explains everything because they somehow knew it deep down inside. And for others, it's a massive blow. And then unfortunately, they almost become like they're an outsider to their own family because, oh, I'm not blood related now. So,
So do you think it's healthy for people to, I guess you never know who you're gonna end up with. Like, I guess some people it's healthy and some people probably not so wonderful to find
well, for
the person.
me, I always make sure that my client is in a stable place. I make sure that my client's not going through a traumatic event because the result of this can be devastating on some level. So I'm very aware and really talk with my clients to make sure that I'm dealing with someone that can handle any outcome. Because if I sense that someone can't, I won't
Right.
take the case. Again, the responsibility I feel is on me, and I try to be really cautious about that. But I mean, look, and then there's the phone call to the guy that, cheated on his wife, and now he has a child coming out of the woodwork, and there's
Oh my
all,
goodness. And then
yeah.
what happens? Then what happened? Like in one of those cases where the man cheated on his wife, had a baby, and years later the wife finds out he has another child. What happens?
It's it,
Do you
it
have a
can be a
story?
problem. It can be problematic.
Have you had
Um,
stories like that?
I have something ongoing right now. Kind of interesting because this gentleman is in his 80s. He's been married for God knows, maybe 60 years.
Oh wow.
And my client is definitely his daughter. And instead of reaching out to him, she reached out to his son because she was fearful of his age.
Right.
And so the son claimed that I took my dad's DNA, they set it up at LabCorp, and we got the results, and the results came back, they're not related. I'm like, no, no, they're definitely, this is not right.
Mhm.
So we went to 23andMe and did a different DNA test. The original was on Ancestry, and one of the first cousins was on there. So now, by way of the first cousin being on there, proved, yes, indeed, this is the biological daughter of exactly who I thought it was. And then what we find out is that her half brother never really gave the father the DNA test in order to protect his
For
father
protection. Wow.
and the mother from finding out that the father had stepped outside of the marriage.
Oh my goodness.
It's a
So,
lot.
okay. So did they ever know the truth? The her father and mother, her
It,
father, brother?
well, so this is ongoing. This literally is like
Right.
like still going on as of yesterday. And my client is now getting a little aggressive, like it wasn't cool what you did, not really giving them the DNA test. It's obviously you didn't, because now I've got this first cousin. The half brother basically said, do not contact me again and do not contact my father or my mother. So he's trying to now shut it down. And
So what do you do in a case like that?
so for me, I can only go so far.
Right.
I am a professional. I can't bully my way into someone's family, nor do I want to. But in the
Right.
same token, I am protective of my clients. Like I kind of call myself like the mama bear. Like when you work with me, I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to help you through and support you through things as we're doing this work.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, there comes a certain point in time that you have to accept it for what it is. I
And
mean,
so you can't go any further.
I can't go any further. I mean, at this point,
If she could go further.
she could push it. She could, show up at her father's house. She could write him a letter. Because of his age, he's 88 years old. Because of his age, I am cautious to upset not only him, but his wife at this point.
Could you
It's
imagine?
tough.
Could you imagine being married 60 years and then could you imagine
No,
that?
no. I would still kill my husband if I was 85 years old. I would still kill him.
Well, yeah, but is the father coherent? You don't know that.
Very much.
He is.
He is. He is. Before, she let him into the purpose of her call, he was saying that his dad is volunteering, he's in great shape and whatnot. I think he thought that it was his uncle's daughter. He wasn't accepting that this happened with his father. And
Right.
so he just wanted to make it go away. And look, I understand that side of it as well. If it was my dad and my dad was 88 years old, I cannot understand wanting to protect him and protect my mom. So it's a tough one because who do you have the compassion for? The girl that just wants to meet her birth father maybe just one time to have a
Right.
cup of coffee and give him a hug,
Right.
or how does this affect this family on a whole? So it's a lot.
So you're like the Sherlock Holmes of of adopted families. You're like the Sherlock Holmes. That's crazy that it's amazing what you do.
Thank you. I love what I do. Honestly, it's therapeutic for me, believe it
I
or
know
not.
you're the best. I know you're the best at it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know that.
I appreciate that. I mean, there's people out there that are good at what they do. What makes me a little bit different is that I am an adoptee and I am extremely passionate about this. Like, because of my own search that went catastrophically bad, I
Right?
found that I didn't have a reunion initially, and that's a crazy, crazy story. My birth mother showed up at my front door after completely shutting me down.
Oh
Showed
no.
up, showed up 26 years later, unannounced, rang the doorbell and said, "It's time for us to talk." It
You're
was
kidding.
No, it was the craziest thing, but I have to tell you, I was this child that I loved my parents. And you'll find every adoptee you talk to will say, I loved my parents. I had a great family. We're protecting that family unit. But in the
Right.
same token, there was a part of me that longed for this person. I wanted to know who she was. She was alive inside of me. And when I reached out to her and it didn't go well, it was devastating for me. Devastating.
But wait, you reached out to her and then you didn't hear from her till 26 years later?
Well, when I reached out to her, she was enraged. This was a girl. She was 16 years old when she had me. This was a
Oh,
girl from the Bronx. Okay, so she was tough. But I grew up in Queens, Char, so make no
yeah,
mistake, we're tough too.
yeah. Yeah, the Queen
And
girls are always tough.
Queens girls, we're pretty tough.
And you just,
And
yeah.
when I reached out to her, she was not happy.
Oh.
And she said, I'm sorry, you've got the wrong person. And I was like, nope, nope, no, I don't. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, no, don't call me again. I was like, well, listen, you can talk to me right now, or I can be at your house in 3 hours. You let me know.
Uh-huh.
I was so unprepared for the reaction. Um, and this is like I try and tell my clients, like, don't come in like a bull in a china shop, because I did.
Right.
For my birth mother, I was just like, oh my God, she's going to be so elated to hear from me. And I just can't wait to call her. And she's going to be like, oh my God, my missing child. I just can't wait to see you. And it was just like, and what happened next is like what changed the course of my life. I said, well, if you don't want to know me, tell me who my father is and I'll move on. She said,
Uh-huh.
oh, you want to know who your father is? I'll tell you. Your father was my father, and I hope you enjoy that. And hung up the phone.
Oh, what?
Yes. So it turned out not to be true. And yeah. Turned out
Oh
not to, yeah. Can you imagine? So
no.
it was beyond. And I honestly, I had to go to therapy. I mean, all I can remember, I can still see myself in my backyard on this phone call and
No.
seeing white and black dots. And the therapist said, that's called post-traumatic stress disorder, my girl. She's like, you are completely like shook to the core. And like a dummy, the next day after this phone call, I went in for gallbladder surgery.
Oh,
And they could not get my heart rate down. And the doctors were like, we don't know what's wrong with this girl. Like, why is she not okay? And then finally my husband's like, well, she had this traumatic phone call. And they were like, okay, that explains it. She should have never had surgery today. And I mean, honestly, I
wait,
was
okay. So
broken.
did you eventually talk to your mother then?
Well, so what happens from there is I'm like, okay, this isn't gonna work for me. This,
Right?
this story is just not working for me. And I mean, look, there's people in this world that are born of rape and violence and
Right.
incest. So I had to wear that for a long time until I got to the truth. And I understand the burden and the shame that someone carries from the sins of their birth families. And I think I had that experience so that I would become ultra in tune with the people that I'm working with. So
That
I
makes sense.
understand what they are feeling and what they're going through, because I just went through this crazy traumatic event.
And you're
Um,
you're a healer, and many healers have to go through what they're trying to help people with so they can understand that. So did you find out about who your dad was? Did you find out? Did you talk to your mother?
so what ends up happening is years later, I get a show on the Oprah Winfrey Network,
Uh-huh.
and we're actually here in my house and we're filming, and
Oh,
my
wow.
we
Oh, there's a big photos. Tony, good job.
which is how I know Stuart Krasnell, because he was
Right,
my executive producer on the show.
right.
And what happened is we had my phones recorded in my house because we were in the middle of actively filming. And
Mhm.
here comes a phone call from my birth mother. Now I had not heard from her for 12 years. It was that traumatic phone call, end of
Wow.
story. I go to therapy, I go to support groups. I'm like, my God, I start volunteering, I start helping people, I start solving cases. So my career is being built. Um, so what ends up happening is I get a call from her. She says she's in trouble. She needs money. She saw
Oh
me.
my God.
Yeah. So I'm like, can this really get any better? So I just sort of shut that down, ignored the situation. And then by the blessing of DNA, it was right around Thanksgiving, and in came a first cousin match. And I was like, well, there's nobody with her father's name in my DNA. Let's start there. And I am clearly half Italian, which her father was clearly Irish. So at that point, then, I mean, I sort of kind of got to a place where I accepted it and realized it didn't define me. I shouldn't be ashamed if this is in fact the way I was conceived. However, it wasn't. And so I was
But
able
that's horrible that she said that about that
uh,
with your father. Horrible.
and you know what? She wanted me to go away and not come back. And you know, she successfully did that, except that in the midst of this, I found her boyfriend, I found her sister, I found who her boyfriend was. I found out she had another daughter after me when she was 17. I found her. She and I, in fact, she was here 2 weeks ago. She and I have been reunited for 30 years. So it has just been this crazy, twisty thing. So 26 years later, this woman pulls into, you know, our driveway. My husband's like, I don't know who this is. I'm like, well, I'll go out and see who it is. So he goes out and he comes running in the door and he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, what? And what? He's like, it's your birth mother. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So now, and I usually dry my hair, put my makeup on every day, you know, but you know, this is the day I'm in a Mickey Mouse t-shirt and I look like just who did it and ran, right? So I'm like, fabulous, because this is the first time I'm meeting this woman that gave birth to me. So I go out and I'm like, can I help you? Like, and she's like, it's time you and I talk. And I'm like, oh, is it? And she said, I'm dying. I think we should talk. And she had cancer. And she came to my house because she wanted to squash the beef, if you would, and have a face-to-face conversation. And it was one of the most craziest things of my life, where I sat in my backyard with this woman who had my eyes, who had my hair, who just it was crazy. And you know what came from that was that she did not understand. She basically was a foster child. She's getting bounced around between all her family. She found it outrageous that when she went through the trouble of finding me two good adoptive parents and a stable home, that how dare I be so greedy to try and find her and want more.
Wow.
And right? I, I was like,
wow, it's all relative.
Yeah. And it was like I got a perspective that I never had before. And I was like, okay, I kind of get that. You went through a lot of trouble to make sure I had a better life than you. So I understood things in a much different way from that moment.
Wow. What is this all in your book? What's the name of your book?
My book is called Reunited, and it's by me and Sam Marshall.
It's
Pamela
Slaton.
Slaton. Yeah, so most of it's in there. The part where she shows up at the front door, that's book number 2. It sort of cuts off where it's like I'm in Never Never Land with her. But you know, the other thing though I want to tell you is that she didn't understand why I felt the need to find her. And I looked her dead in the face and said, I never forgot you. I never stopped loving you, and I carried you in my heart my entire life. Oh my God, and she was shocked.
That's so sad.
Yeah,
and wait, what about the dad? What about your dad? What happened to that?
Oh my God. So the father is like one of 4 brothers, but I have to tell you, by the time I was like, okay, he's not my grandfather, I was like, I'm over it. Like at that point, I was like, I don't even care anymore, because my search had just beat the absolute hell out of me, that I was just in a place that I'm at peace. I know it's one of 4 brothers. I got eyeballs on all 4 of them. You know, I see a lot of my 2 sons in that paternal side of the family. Wow. And I've just kind of put it to rest. And honestly, I got to keep enough energy in this old girl to keep helping other people, right?
Well, speaking of that, how do people get a hold of you? Because I'm sure there are many people listening tonight that would love to find their birth parents and siblings.
So I have a website. And the
Tony,
easiest
did you
way.
put up the website? Do you have the website? Okay, what is it?
So it's PamelaOBR.com. And basically, OBR stands for Open Birth Records. So Pamela, PAMELA, OBR.com.
Okay, PamelaOBR.com.
That's it.
And if somebody like didn't write that down, if they Google Pamela Slaton, they'll probably find that, right?
They will find me.
Well, I am like floored with your story. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. And you don't know which one of the four brothers is your dad, though, right?
I don't. I suspect one of them, but he passed away. And again, I'm just so emotionally drained on my own search that my connection needed to
Can
be
I
with
ask you
my birth
something?
mother.
Can I ask you
Sure,
something? Is one of them a
sure.
Michael? Is one of them a Michael?
There is a Michael.
I'm hearing the name Michael. Which one's that? And is there also like a Joseph or John or something? Or Jay, a Jay?
There is a J in there. There is a Michael for sure. I'm trying to remember the other brothers' names.
Oh, that's okay. I don't know. You and I will get together and talk another time, but I don't know. I'm hearing stuff. But anyway, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me. I feel like I didn't stop talking. You got it all out of me, Char.
Well, good. That's my job, and that's why I wanted you on, because I knew you would have an amazing story for our viewers, so, and our listeners. So, wow. So you guys, you need to get her book, and you need to look at her website at PamelaOBR.com. Thank you so much. I'm sending you a big hug, and
I'm sending one back.
thank you. And I look forward to connecting again outside of the podcast.
I'd love that. Thank you very much, Char. Be well.
You're so welcome. God bless you. Bye-bye.
God bless you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow.
That was
Tony,
pretty good.
is that a crazy story?
I've had some stories like that.
You have?
Not, I mean, my mother did. So yeah.
What,
And
your
even on
mother
my
was
dad's side,
adopted?
I did an Ancestry.com DNA test
Yeah.
because I've been doing ancestry work for years and years and years and years.
Mhm.
And one time I went in because I checked the, DNA and matches for cousins and stuff like that. And I got this new match 2 years ago as a first cousin. And I was like, who's Michael? And I'm like, Michael? I don't know.
Oh, wow. There's another.
I know, right?
With her. That's
Right.
weird.
And I was like, so I called my sister. I was like, do you know this Michael guy? And she's like, no. And so I called them and they said, oh, we were wondering when you're going to call. Come to find out, my uncle and aunt my uncle and aunt, before they got married, my uncle went in the military. He got my aunt pregnant before they were married.
Uh-huh.
And this was probably in the 1940s. So anyway, he went to the military. I don't think he knew about she got pregnant. She put the baby up for an adoption, and he found me through Ancestry.com, and he is my first cousin. So it was my uncle and aunt's kids, and they had 3 other children too. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I know of a story now that's happening in the town I live in, and I know somebody who did the DNA and figured it out and doesn't know if they should tell the person who they've been friends with for years that they know who the birth mother is.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy. But
Yeah.
I mean, what, do you rock someone's world, or do people keep their secrets? I mean, God, I don't know.
Well, my aunt actually rejected him.
Oh no.
When he finally approached her, she rejected him. So, Yeah, I don't, because I think she didn't want that secret to be out. So
Right. You know what? We've got about 10 minutes. I think we should take a
let's
caller.
do it.
Okay, because I know people like me to do readings and I planned on it,
Hmm.
but her story was so interesting I couldn't cut her off.
No, it was great.
Yeah, she's wonderful. I mean, I didn't want to cut her off. I didn't, I'll be doing readings for the rest of my life on Friday nights.
All right, so let's see. Da, 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 da. How about a 928? I believe it's Arizona.
Arizona, hello. Hello?
Oh my God.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can. Who is this?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You might be mad at me, Char.
What is this, Nancy?
It's Nancy.
Nancy, I would never be mad at you.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, I just sent you a final email, okay? To apologize.
Okay. Well,
I can't believe that you. Your assistant probably wants to stab me.
Who? Oh no! Don't
Your
be
assistant.
silly. No, don't be silly. Don't be silly. Did you have a question for me?
Well, no. If you want to just give me a reading, whatever you have to say is fine.
Yeah. So, do you have a health thing coming up right now? A health situation that
Yeah, I do.
do you have to have something like a procedure done, or I don't like have they figured it out?
There's a couple of different things, but the one thing that I just got results from was I was having a lot of burning in my legs, and I had to get a nerve test. It turned out I have 2 pinched nerves, one in my lower back, which is like sciatica, and then I have another one in my knee. So I'm going to go to a doctor that's going to give me shots for my back, but I'm going to go to the orthopedic to see what he thinks why I have pressure on a nerve in my knee.
Yeah, what kind of shot? Like a
steroid, I think that's what they
steroid?
do. Yeah.
There's you never look into holistic stuff, do you? Well, I can only
I don't know anything about it.
When I've had stuff like that, I get an ozone shot, which is non-toxic and seems to help me and take the pain away.
Will the pain doctor know about it? Ozone shot?
Well, they only if they're alternative doctors, but I've seen that work. Here's the other thing. Are you in pain?
Yeah, I was in worse pain. It lightened up a little.
Okay, so I have a suggestion for you. And you don't have to go a lot, but I feel like you should go to a physical therapist.
Okay, I was thinking that. I was going to ask for also a prescription to go to get physical therapy in a pool because I lost weight and I lost some muscle, so I need to do. Will that be okay, or do I have to go to a physical therapist?
I think that's a great idea, but I think you should go to a physical therapist. They'll give you like some exercises to do like every morning. And once you do them, you have to do them. You have to do them. But if you do them, they really work. I'm going to somebody now who's totally helped me, totally helped my sister, totally helped my doctor. He's like very gifted, but he's in Michigan. So you need to find somebody in Arizona where you live. And you're going to, you know what? You're going to figure this out. You're going to fix this. I feel it. It's going to be good.
The physical therapy is for this problem with the nerves?
Yeah, I feel like my gut tells me, and I'm not allowed to give out medical advice, but my gut tells me that this is what will help you. Nancy, thank you so much for calling. We need to move on because we need to get some more people in, but thank you so much. And I'll look for your email from the office. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay. You want to try to get one more?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. So let's go with 781. 718, New York.
That's New York.
718, you're on the air.
Hello?
Did you fall asleep?
Hello? Are you there? Hello?
Going once, going
Going
twice.
twice? Sold?
Sold. All right, we're gonna go
Wait,
to.
wait. Why can't we get to them? That's so not good.
I don't know. Let's try.
We had that before, and then people email the office. That was me on hold. Can you call us back and whatever? But that's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because Tony's office is different than my office, so whatever. Okay.
All right. Well, sorry we missed you, but keep trying. You know, you're always welcome.
Always welcome.
We have a Kelly 267.
267. Hello.
Hi,
Kelly.
Char.
Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Okay. I'm going through a lot right now.
You are.
But the adoption thing, yeah.
What? So is it
I'm going through a lot.
is it connected to the adoption stuff?
Adoption, family court, everything. I've gone through a lot this week. My son with a sore tooth.
Yeah, but
but I was wondering.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering if I can't. Being an adopted child, sometimes you do wonder what happened. I don't know any background or anything.
I think you should call Pam.
That's what I was thinking of doing.
Do you need her information? Hey, look at Kelly.
Yeah.
There are no accidents. There's a reason why she was on the show tonight, and there's a reason why out of all the thousands of calls we get through Tony that you were chosen. That I bet anything she'll be able to help you. I bet anything.
I had spoken to you before.
Do you have her website?
No. Could I have her website?
Write this down. Ready?
Okay.
Pamela. Like Pamela. Pamela.
Pamela.
OBR. .com.
Okay. .com.
Pamela OBR.com.
Okay, thank you.
I feel like that there's definitely a reason for you to connect. And so you're in a lawsuit going on, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have to pay money? Are you thinking you're going to have to pay some money in this thing?
And one of the things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're going to have to dish out some money. But you know what? You'll get this whole thing behind you and you can get on with your life. And whenever I've seen anything in life that there's something so traumatic or so chaotic or so frustrating, there's always something better that comes along the way right after. It just takes some work, some hard work, and some positive attitude, and you'll get through it and you'll figure it out. But I do feel like
that's strange.
I feel like there will be some disappointment about the money thing.
Paying the money, or
yeah, I think it's about the money. But I also feel like somebody wasn't honest with you.
Okay, with the money you mean, or?
I don't know. I just feel like was there somebody involved with this that just wasn't honest with you?
There was somebody tried to have me evicted They
Yeah.
promised me that I could stay in an apartment, and
Right. They weren't honest.
they weren't honest. I had no place to go, but I did stay there till I got my apartment like 8 months ago.
Yeah, well, thank God you have another place to stay. I so appreciate you calling, but we've got to move on. Thank you so much and take good care of yourself.
Okay, thanks, Char.
You're welcome, dear. Bye-bye. All right. Well, interesting. Tony, you picked somebody that wanted to know their adopted heritage.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, now she has an outlet she can go to.
That was good. Okay, well, thank you so much. If anybody wants to join my class, June 25th and 26th, we still have openings, and it's going to be a great class. If you want to learn about your own intuition, and it's probably the greatest gift you can give yourself is to learn how to listen and stay out of harm's way and obtain the goals you want. So go to char.net, char.net, and sign up. And we will see you next Friday night. Take care, everybody. And remember that intuition will take you places logic never could. Bye-bye.